Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft Amplified server. We're here in the Nether and I'm making these little particle effects here. It looks ever so weird. We are eating rotted flesh again. Do you know what that means? That means I've been busy because I've run out of all of my golden carrots and I've resorted to eating the rotted flesh of zombie pigmen. Yes, that is right, and I've been doing some work. I've been busy around here, that's where all my golden carrots are gone, working away in this area, doing some half-slabbing. You may have not noticed that at first. It doesn't really look like I've done anything until I mention it. And there's a ghast. Let's see if we can hit him first time. Don't move, guy. Oh, what a shot. I was expecting to miss. Usually when recording and you shoot a ghast, you miss. But anyway, you can see it is a half slab. I've half slabbed the whole of this roof area over here. In fact, the entire thing on this side has been half slabbed. Just realised that I've missed that bit over there. But I've been busy, as I've said, working away doing some half slabbing. So I originally started out by removing these walkways like this. So I'd remove the sides and the roof and then slab the floor from side to side. And I did that over here on this bit. Just going around there. It took a very long time and I thought, sod that, that's not going to work, we're just going to half slab the roofs. If you have a look over here, there's roofs, they've been half slabbed, the walkways below have been half slabbed as well, and I've pretty much hit up every single part of this fortress right here, which I think is going to make a big difference to our farm and getting some more wither skulls, which I've been doing. I've been getting a lot of those. So with all of this slabbed up, I'm hoping that we're going to increase the rates. Now I don't think... Actually, we need to go back out here again so I can show you something. I don't think this is going to make the biggest difference. I think the thing that's really going to be killer is this right here. There's this big landmass that extends over this fortress and over that side as well, and I'm considering mining it away, which might be a bad idea. Might use some TNT. I'm really not sure, but we need to do something about it, and probably slabbing will be the best. So I might do some slabbing on top of here. But I'm not sure when it is I'm going to tackle that, because there's a few things that I want to do and I kind of don't really have a plan for this episode. I was like, hey, I just want to hit record and let you know what I've been doing. So slabbing is the business. Let's head into this area. There is a couple of things I want to talk about, and already we have a wither skeleton over there and over there. That is a really good sign. And hey, I completely forgot about the magma cream, so we're going to have to go and check up on that and see how that's done, because I've done a heck of a lot of AFKing and even died a couple of times as well. And I've got a theory on why I die. I think the wolves are nudging me, although it doesn't sound right that an entity can nudge the player. I think that's like an old thing that they removed. But anyway, I started putting blocks behind me when I stand in the little AFK area, because all the wolves would walk up to me and possibly nudge me, and that seems to have made a difference. I haven't died once since doing them, but my hunger is still going down, which is really strange. So I don't know why when standing still your hunger goes down, but that's happening. And hopefully we'll be able to figure that out. So, wither skulls, that's what we want to have a look at. There you go, 36. I would like to get 300 of these, and then fight 100 withers all at once with the rest of the hermits. That is my goal at the moment. That could take a long time, or with some of this slabbing that we're doing, it might actually help a lot, because as the rates increase here, we'll get skulls automatically, which is amazing. So what do we want to do next? We actually want to pillar up to the magma cream, I think, and we're going to have a little chat about a few things. So, last episode, I showed you all a mod which I don't have installed anymore, called Schematica, and the idea of that mod is that you can overlay builds and then you can build while you're in the world. And the reception to that wasn't too positive. A few people liked it, a lot of people didn't. One thing I want to make very clear, none of the building that I did was with a part of the tool that automatically builds for you. Didn't want to do that at all. I like the building process, it's fun. Why am I placing down ladders? We're just checking on this. 34, and we also get some pigmen wandering in there as well, which is pretty cool, and we got some glass. That's alright, we'll go check the other side. See, I didn't let the program do any of the building for me. I just used it to show me where I needed to build, which I thought was a good idea. Now, there was one comment in particular that I wanted to address on that I saw a few times. Quite a few people saying that they thought it was lazy and that it was kind of cheaty. Now, there was something I wanted to throw out about that. When I saw this mod, my first thoughts were, with that, I can get so much more done. You know, you could say it's lazy to have a guide showing you where to build, but the way I saw it, it meant I could be more productive, because with a guide showing me where to build, I could get the building done quicker, and that means I could do more things in my time playing. So, it kind of depends on how you look at it and what sort of player you are, but for me, that mod would have made me more productive. But for now, I've knocked it on the head. And as I said, we're not running it anymore. And I also found out how to make it transparent, by the way. I did figure that out. You can actually make blocks appear transparent in the world, which was a lot more useful than what I showed you in that video. If you're interested in that, you have to load up the mod settings, which is in your escape menu, and go into the specific mod, and then you can change it. So anyway, we got ourselves a lot of magma cream. Why is there one there and like 63 there? I shifted them. Maybe I didn't shift them into my inventory. That is strange. Anyway, yeah, so a couple more things I want to talk about. The Infinity Ftb server has started. That's a new Hermitcraft modded server. I think that means that mod source is pretty much done with, but don't quote me on it because I'm not playing on there, other people are. And I think actually DMAX said he wants to continue playing on there and Slipgate it as well. But the deal with Infinity is, yes, I am playing on there, but no, I'm not going to be making any videos. I'm just going to be playing on there for fun. I don't really feel like I have a space for modded or time for modded in my schedule at the moment, but I'm just going to go on there and play casually with a little bit of spare time I have here and there. So that's the deal with that. Maybe you'll see me in some other Hermits videos, but I'm not going to be doing the modded on my series. And also, two more things to mention quickly. I did mention this at the end of the last video. We now have a Hermitcraft livestream channel, twitch.tv/hermitcraft_. If you want to go and follow us over there, we'll be hosting other streams and doing some events in the future. And I'll mention that again at the end of the video, just to remind you. And also, UHC Season 7 has started, so there'll be a link to that in the description box. So enough about that. I'm now going to do some AFKing up there. I'm going to see if the rates of the farm have been increased by that little bit of half-slabbing. And maybe between now and the next time I record, I'll have done some more half-slabbing. And that is kind of creepy. Oh my days, how many of them are there here? I've kind of forgotten just how many of them there are. Last time that I came over here, I got loads of rotted flesh, healed them all up, and made some of them breed as well. And I guess there's now a lot of them because of that. So let's take 4 of them out of here. This is actually a little bit of a pain, by the way, this setup, because you have to walk away, then sometimes they teleport out, or they wander out, and then you need to go back and close the gate, because otherwise you have zombie pigmen spawning there. So usually, when I get these guys out, it's a case of walking back and forth a few times, just to close the gates and reopen them, and then checking where they're teleporting to. It can be quite the headache. But we've got all 4 of them on this side. And when I head up here as well, sometimes they don't seem to follow me. They all look like they're walking up the staircase. Then I walk down here, and I look behind me, and they don't come around for ages, which is really strange. So there's still a few things to figure out with this. But they're going up there. They've seen the wither skeletons. That's right, go get the bad guys. So we can do some AFKing. And yeah, I'll be back with you soon. So, not the longest of AFK sessions. I have been itching to get back to work on this. It's now the morning. My voice might sound slightly different. And we're back over here. If you don't recognise this, this is the portal to the ink sac farm. Or the squid farm, whatever you want to call it. Let's go over here and see what's been changed. Because I've got some feedback from you guys I want to talk about. And also, oh, that's interesting. There's a bunch of random items here. I'm going to guess that's from XB, probably clearing out his inventory before he left, because he's done some work over here. Anyway, I'll pick that stuff up. And yes, I am still on the rotted flesh. I didn't go back to the base and pick up golden carrots, so just came straight over here. Really wish I'd have done that. But if we go outside, you're going to see something amazing. It's nighttime. It could be a little bit dangerous. Yep, there's some mobs around here. But check that out. A massive Elder Guardian, and we're getting targeted already, which is annoying. Is it about to become morning? I can't tell. When it goes red like that, I think it means it's morning. It looks like it's brightening up out there. And I have no game sound. We haven't been able to hear those guardians flapping away behind us. There they are. We're going to make a change here as well. But anyway, let's go outside and try and get a closer look at this thing over here. So yes, XB has built an Elder Guardian. This was a comment that I got on my video suggesting that we build a Guardian zapping the squid, and then that kind of shows you what's going on over here. And I mentioned it to XB, and I thought we would have talked about it more, but he just came over here the next day and built it, and he done a terrific job. Awesome time lapse. One of the things I like that he did about this is he put sand in it as well, just to break up the texture a little bit. So if you have a look, you can see there's blocks of sand, and even on the bottom sides as well. He's used string to hold them up. Very cool stuff, very creative, and I think this looks really good, and I don't think he's quite done with it yet. I know he's not happy with the floor, but one of the things I was going to mention to him was having this thing zap the squid with some orange stained glass panes. You know, have a few of those floating towards it, and you could probably make it look like a beam, which I think he is going to do, so we won't touch that for today. But this place now just looks that a little bit more special, and it's really cool. Now, I got a lot of feedback. Oh, mouse spasm about this farm right here. A lot of comments saying that we should just build a tank and put the guardians inside of it. Look, the point here is just to have a little bit of fun with the lasers targeting the squids as they fall. If we were to put the guardians in a tank, you've seen how long it takes for them to fire at the squid. This farm would be so much slower than it is right now, and we've probably got more ink than we ever need. but I think it looks so much cooler like this because the water are the squid tentacles. And a lot of you have been asking how to make the floating water, so I guess that's something I can actually show you. Yeah, we'll do a little demonstration and I'll show you that again, because I keep getting comments about it. But we'll close the door for now. The other thing that I want to do is put some water in here. Now, originally I said I didn't want these guys to be in water because the squid would be able to spawn in the water, which would be a bad thing. As many of you have pointed out, these guardians would be able to kill the squid, but not also that. If we're standing here, no squid are going to spawn directly next to us, so water can actually go in this area, and I don't think it's going to mess with Zul'jin's look that much at all. I think a layer of water over that sand would actually look really nice. So, I need to go find me a silk touch tool and a bucket of water. So this guy over here is called Zul'jin. We couldn't see their names before, and I was a little bit paranoid about this guy being able to escape, which is why I put all of this cobblestone around here. I thought it'd be typical. He's going to jump straight out of here, and also he's going to zap me as well. But of course, we're in close proximity, so he's going to be nice and tame. And, oh, okay, for some reason I couldn't jump for a second there, so we'll just do the same thing on this side. I got a feeling I now know the name of this one over here. It's probably going to be XB or XB Crafted. Let's just have a quick look. There you go, it's XB Crafted. Awesome. Right, let's fill this thing up with water and then we're going to be done here. And hey, these guys don't jump about as much when they're in the water, do they? They kind of stay put and swim around, I guess, so we don't have to worry about them jumping out of the water and escaping. You're not going to do that, are you? No, we're good. Okay, so that's done, and now I'm going to go and set up a little demonstration to show you how to make the floating water like we have on the squid farm. And by the way, if we take a step back, it looks alright. It does look a fair bit different. If Zul'jin wants to come over here and change anything now that water is available, he's more than welcome to, but I still think it looks really cool. And now we don't have the noise of these flapping around, which is actually quite pleasant, I think, but it's cool to see them sitting there and hanging out. Apparently we are now griefing the Jumballoon. I came over into this area to do a little demonstration, and then I thought, hey, why don't we leave this floating water around to see if anyone notices it and wonders what on earth is going on. Because obviously I watched the other Hermit's videos and I thought it would be funny to see that. And then it kind of evolved into, why don't we attach it to something, and now we're playing a little mini prank on the Jumballoon, because I saw this and I thought, wouldn't it be funny if that thing had a leak of water falling down? They didn't go all the way down to the water below, so that's what we're going to do. Play a little mini prank, and I'll clear this up once Mumbo has seen it. It only needs to be a temporary thing. But how we do this is we have some water up the top. The water has blocks on all sides, so it flows down in a single stream. So where that cobblestone is, that's where our water is going to go. And then at the bottom, we're going to have a little platform like this, but we want to remove the bottom block because there is a block of ice underneath it, which is important. And the blocks around mean that the water is going to flow directly on top of that ice. So if we go up the top here and just replace that cobble with water, then you can see that in action. Okay, so there's half slabs on each of the sides here. So if we put the water right there, then it flows down in a straight line and it's going to go right into that hole. And it's not going to spread out into the sides. That's excellent. Okay, so let's clear up this cobblestone, and then we're going to go down there, put a light source next to the ice, and then it's going to melt. Alright, and after about 30 seconds or so of that torch being there, the ice has melted into water. Now the water is connected to the water above it, but it hasn't received a block update, so it's not going to update itself and spread out like it usually does. Now if you have a look at where the blocks above it are, they're not actually attached to this block at all, or on any one of its sides, which means we can remove all of these blocks without the water updating, and therefore the water is floating. So that's how you do that trick right there. There's actually quite a lot more tricks you can do with this water. Quite a while ago I saw a few of those. Lonely Mac, I think, is the guy who did a lot of tricks with the water. And he posts to Reddit, and yeah, there's all kinds of cool things you can do with these updates. But there you go. It might not be so obvious from up above, but from down the bottom here, you can see it stops right before the water, which is interesting. And that is actually a really strange sight, something I didn't expect to be doing today. But there you go, a little bit of a mini prank. And that's how you do that. So let's go back into the Nether, because I do have a project in mind for this episode. It's going to be a big one, and we really need to get started on it. Alright, so our project for today is to build a Nether tunnel. It's going to be the first proper one that we've done here in the Nether, and we're going to build it out in the open, not up in the top area, and it's going to start from somewhere around here. So if we press F3, you can see that we're around 0 on X, and 380 blocks in that direction is the squid farm, and then just a little bit off to that is the Mesa Biome as well. So originally I was thinking about doing a sort of diagonal path, but it really isn't quite a straight diagonal. It's going to go off a little bit to the side, and if we just walk up to this end right here, we're actually in line with it. So this feels like the right place to start the tunnel, and then it got me thinking that, hey, it's a little bit of a walk to get over here, and what we can actually do is perhaps some sort of mini station ride around here. So we could have a track that goes alongside the long corridor down there. It could come up here and even go over to the witch farm, and apparently there's some other portals popping up around the place as well. So it'd be like a mini metro to other little points, and one of those would be another line that takes you off into the distance. So we could have that going down the side here, and for now it could just take us perhaps up to this bit, which would be convenient, but in the future we would add little stops along the way so you could get out at the portal that you wanted to drop off at, which I think would be cool, because then that means it's a little bit of a redstone challenge, something to do, a nice creative project, and yeah. Okay, so another note to make is that these banners are quite popular with you, and I've seen some of the other hermits coming over here looking at this, and it really does feel like a cool idea, especially when we personalise all of these. Biffa's one looks really cool, Force's one looks awesome, and I'm going to add the Squid Farm and the Mesa Biome ones today. So what I'm thinking we could do is have a proper place for this board to be that will show you all of the different destinations you can go to. And then when we have our little train station that goes down the side here to take you to the other portals on the line, we can simply put the places that it goes to using the banners on the side of it, which I think would be really, really cool. Because I have seen a few hermits getting confused, especially by my thing over here. I mean, this isn't really labelled or anything, and it takes you up to the ceiling and all the area up there, but that place is confusing. So it's time to start getting things going here in the Nether hub. Now, what I want to do is obviously build that tunnel down the end there, but a lot of thought has got to go into that and a lot of preparation as well. So at this point I don't know if we're going to jump into a time lapse or if I'm going to come back and talk to you, but you'll find out quicker than I do, I guess, in some respects. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, right, let's get to work. So I went onto my creative server, figured out a design that I'm not 100% sure about. I think it's alright, but I don't think it's the greatest of Nether tunnels. But anyway, I've now calculated how many materials we need, and it's a lot. It's a heck of a lot. Look at all of that right there. That is an insane amount of materials. That's all going to go into this tunnel that we're building right now, and I need to get some more things as well. I've just brought some nether brick back over from the wither farm. We got loads and loads of that stuff over there, but we also need 260 packed ice, and I only have this bit right here. So we're going to have to take a trip over to that biome, and there's no way in hell I'm extending this tunnel that we're building that far out. That goes really far away to get to that place. The ice spike biome that is, and we're also going to need 806 hardened clay, and that might include some pillars which I'm thinking about building that are going to go all the way down below. Now where there's a lava lake, that's a really long way, which means a lot more materials, and I have no idea how far that lava lake goes for. It might actually go sort of open all the way to where we're going, which I think is 160 blocks. Let's just press F3. Yeah, look at that, we're almost at 100 and it's at 270 I do believe, so somewhere around, yeah, 160 blocks. But anyway, we'll scout that area out. We'll find out a little bit more about it. For now, what I'm going to do is take a long trip over to the Mesa and then over to the ice spike biome thing and gather those materials. So I've been to the packed ice biome. We're now over here at the Mesa biome at Mount Klingon. You got one there, another one over there. Very silly joke. And yeah, I've just been doing some instant mining. And I was mining over in that region before I moved this beacon, and I was thinking, I'm really close to this beacon, but the effect keeps running out. Totally forgot that, of course, the effect range is based on the beacon's size, so I think the minimum is like 20 or 30 blocks for this thing right here. So I had to move it over to this side and start mining this out, which is going to look real strange from down below, but this area is all about demolition. You know, you can take out the desert over there, you can take out the mesa area right here as well, so we're not in the business of preserving looks. But anyway, I'm done now. My inventory is full, so much so that I'm going to have to chuck away this orange clay. Actually, let's throw away the cobblestone to pick up the beacon. Right, so let's head back, and now we can actually start construction of this thing. Alright, I built a section of the bridge, and in the process of doing that I got a comment on my video which kind of threw the whole idea that I'm working on at the moment out of the window. We'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, there's magma cubes under here, that makes sense. But as of right now, we're going to go and check this thing out. So my camera account is online as well. We can have a look at this from a different angle. I've got to say, and I think I said it already, it's not the most prettiest of bridges. You know, it doesn't sort of stand out and make you go, wow, that's amazing. But it's pretty cool kind of shape and design to it. I like it. It's like a decent mediocre. So anyway, the idea here is that you can go down the middle like this. If I could actually get on here, which I could do if the block in front of it was a full block. And this isn't the entrance, by the way. I've left a little bit of room for an entrance area with a proper station. But you can sprint down here fast as possible like you do with the ice and the trapdoors. And nothing will spawn on this as well, because the trapdoors are at this height. If they were at the head height, then I think pigmen might be able to spawn on the bottom, but with it like this, they won't. And so alongside that, we've got the tracks and we've got a block above it, so they're not going to spawn on the tracks either, which is awesome. And it goes a really long way out over there, and it also pillars down to the lava as well. But we can't really get a great view in survival, so we're going to hop over to my camera account in a second. But if we just move around to the side here, there you go, there's the pillars going down, and I think it looks a little bit strange. And by the way, our entire journey is in an open area where the lava lake is, so where this goes to means everything's going to have a pillar going down. There's going to be no bit that goes through the netherrack or anything like that, and I'm not so sure how I feel about that. I think it would look a little better once it was complete, but it's an interesting look anyway. And my main thing here was keep it simple, because it's going to be a big bridge. If we make some really detailed structure going all the way down to the bottom, it'd take forever to build, and that goes right into the lava lake, by the way. But anyway, let's hop over to my camera account and have a look from over there. Wow, things are really a lot brighter on this camera account. Of course, we have night vision enabled because it's a camera account. We want to be able to see really well, but this is the design right here. It looks good, doesn't it? I like it. I think it looks a little bit better once you've seen it repeated a few times. But here's the general idea. We've got this sort of glass cage going along protecting the player, and then we've got a frame built on top of it. Kind of looks like it's holding it into place. Now originally this was all nether brick, and then I started playing around with putting in some stone bricks, and eventually I decided on this nether brick trim going across the outside and stone bricks on the top and bottom. And then underneath we've also got some slabs, and where you can see these stair blocks, that's actually to hide the redstone block right there that's powering the rails, and that's the design. And I do like it. However, we might not be building the rest of this bridge anymore, because I've, as I said, seen a comment, really fantastic suggestions. So I think what we're probably going to do is hop over into a test world and have a look at this thing. So this comment that I got was about amplified and horses, and how the amplified terrain is difficult to traverse and horses don't make that any easier. However, when we bring the horses into the Nether, it's a completely different game, because we dug out these big tunnels that they could move up and down in. And so the point this person was making with their comment was that these horses could actually be a really effective form of transport in the Nether. We can dig out half slab tunnels, which means mobs don't spawn on them. They can have ice underneath, so the player and the horse can go faster on them. And they might be some decent competition for minecarts, because at the moment that's what we're using. So we're going to do a little bit of test for speed right here. This is a horse that's just been randomly spawned in, so I have no idea if he's fast or slow, but we'll be able to find that out later on. But another point to make here is that minecarts have a few problems. You know, when you're travelling from place to place, you have to build a minecart station at either end. If you want to add, you know, sections where you want to turn off to a side or go in a different direction, then that brings in a whole load of redstone, which is actually like a really fun thing to do. I like that kind of stuff. But horses may make that a lot simpler, because if every player has their own horse, then when they're going between two different locations, then they're going to be able to jump on the horse, unless they die somewhere. That would be unfortunate, and then it would mean your horse is stuck in a different part of the Nether. But you follow me where I'm going here, right? So we can run down these tracks, we can go to a location, and then we can come back. And when we turn off, all we need to do is just build a path that goes somewhere, because we obviously control the direction of our horse. So we're going to do a test now, and it's going to be an interesting one, because I'm going to walk this guy over here, then we're going to switch to my camera account, and I'm going to get this guy to go first. So he's going to have a head start. Let's switch back. And no, I'm facing the wrong direction. Right, so let's run down here. You can see he is possibly going at the same speed. Maybe just a little bit faster, it feels like. I'm looking at both my screens, and it feels like that guy is just ever so slightly faster than we are right now. But here's the thing, this might not be a fast horse. Once we figure out what kind of horse this is, we'll get a good idea. And even if we are going slightly slower, we're pretty much going the same speed. You can see that he's maintained about the same distance the entire journey that we've been travelling along. Now for the minecart, if ever we want to like stop and go in a different direction, or we change our mind, it becomes a bit of a hassle to get out of the minecart and do things differently, or to, you know, get off the tracks and go in a different direction. Whereas we can just turn around and go wherever we want. And I kind of feel like maybe this is something to do on Hermitcraft. It could be a part of our Nether hub is to have horse tunnels everywhere instead of these minecart ones, because transport like that could be, you know, kind of revolutionary. It could be like an entirely new way of doing things in the Nether. And I don't know, I need to talk to the other hermits about it, because it's an interesting idea, and it's kind of made me want to put my bridge plans on hold at the moment, because after building all of that I might want to tear it down and build a horse bridge instead. So it's something that we're going to look into, but for now we're going to try and find out the speed of this horse right here. Alright, so I looked it up, I found out how fast this horse was, and I compared it to the horse speeds. You have an average that they're going to roughly spawn around, which is this yellow one right here. Then you have the slowest and the fastest possible. And our guy is somewhere around these two blocks right here. You know, he's on his way to the slower end, but he's a bit further over from the middle towards the average. And based on what we did last season with horses, we got a horse around this kind of area, and we can definitely do that again on this season. It might be a bit tricky finding a horse, you know, with it being amplified terrain, but once we do find one and we breed them, we can make some that are around this speed right here, which will then mean they are definitely faster than the minecarts, and I think that's going to be a huge positive in terms of this idea right now. But as I said, I need to give it some more thought, some discussion with some of the other hermits, and see what they think about it. So we're back on the server, and this came at a very interesting time. You know, I was about to build this entire bridge, and then we get this comment about the horses, and I've been speaking to some of the other hermits, and it does seem like it's a really good idea. So much so that building this now will probably be a big mistake. So I think what we should do is knock this one on the head for now. You know, I was going to time-lapse me building the entire thing, going off into the distance. It was going to be epic. But for now, I feel like we have a better idea, because if these horses are going to be faster than minecarts, then it makes so much more sense to use them to get around in the Nether. So what I want to do right now is get some feedback from all of you. What do you think about this idea using horses in the Nether? I've got this feeling like there might be something I've overlooked, which might be a bit of a downside to it. So kind of want to gather some feedback, give myself some time to think about all the logistics and things that we're going to have to do. Like, we've got to find the right horses and breed them so we can have lots of fast ones. And then we've got to adapt the Nether for it, because it's not just my bridge over here. We're talking about the entire thing, and all of this really does need some work. So it might be a good excuse to make this look a lot prettier as we add in some stuff for the horses. So leave a comment down below, let me know what you think of the idea. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for this episode. Going to knock this on the head for now. Really don't want to bang out building all of that and then tear it down again. So it seems like it's a good idea to take a little bit of a leave, give it some thought, and next episode we'll be doing a different project while I figure out all the stuff that we need to do for these horses, because I really want to think out this project and make sure it's going to work. But that's going to be it for this episode of Hermitcraft. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. It'll be greatly appreciated. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.